Well, hey everybody, Mr. G here. I just wanted to pick up our conversation from class today. You guys asked really good questions about these truth tables. This by no means is easy. It's a tough introduction into proof and logic, which is the substance of this course. So we want to make sure we have a good understanding of this. So I want to go through and kind of help you guys make sense of what we did today and kind of recap while addressing a question that came up towards the end of class with regards to translating these back into sentences and like, okay, well, what is actually the truth value of each of these cells in a truth table mean? So I want to go through that with you. So I have the same example that we did in class. So I have P as I have a puppy, Q, I have a dog. So you guys told me P implies Q means if I have a puppy, then I have a dog. Similarly, you could say not P means I don't have a puppy, not Q, I don't have a dog. And for the sake of example, I've written not P implies not Q, which represents the inverse actually. And so that would be if I don't have a puppy, right, then I don't have a dog, okay? Excuse me. So in our truth tables, again, we want to represent all the variations of these statements being true and false. So you guys seemed like you're with me in class where P, Q being true, 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 false, false, true, and false, false represents every combination of true and false for P and Q. And then P implies Q, we said this is kind of like a promise, right? It's saying that if Q is true, right, then it better be, that Q, if P is true, then Q better also be true, right? So we're promising that the promise is if P is true, then Q is definitely true. That's the promise, okay? So if we have a case where P is true, but Q is false, right? We broke our promise because our promise was if P is true, then Q is true. So let's look at our cases here. So P implies Q. Let's look at this row here where P is true and Q is true. Well, if P is true, Q is true. Yes, that is exactly what our promise said. So the value is true, right? If I look at the second row here, where I have P is true, but Q is false, I broke my promise. So the truth value is false for that row. These two rows we discussed in class, right? These are both the cases where P is false. Well, that's not what the promise was referring to. The promise didn't say anything about P being false, right? It was only about what happens when P is true. So we're going to say that we're okay with these values being true, regardless if Q is true or false. Here's another way to make sense of that and covering the question about what this looks like in sentence format. Let's look at this row again. If I say P is true and Q is true, what is P and Q? P is I have a puppy, Q is I have a dog. If both of those are true, right, and I'm looking at this row here for P implies Q, then that means if I have a puppy, or excuse me, I have a puppy, therefore I have a dog, right? That's what this row means here, okay? This row, if I translate it, means I have a puppy, therefore I don't have a dog. So I have a puppy, therefore I don't have a dog, right? That matches with true and false here. And again, our promise was that if I have a puppy, then I do have a dog. So we violated our promise. That gets a false value. In the next sentence, if I have a false value for P and a true value for Q, what does that mean? It's false that I have a dog, right? In other words, or excuse me, I have a puppy. Therefore, I don't have a puppy, right? And it's true for Q. What is a true value for Q? That means I do have a dog. So in this case, we're saying I don't have a puppy, therefore I have a dog, right? In this case here, false, false, and true, right? It's false that I have a puppy, so I don't have a puppy, and it's false that I don't have a dog. So hopefully that gives you more of an intuitive understanding of why these values here are true, okay, using the sentences over here. Okay, let's look at the inverse case up here, right? So just to remind ourselves, not P means I don't have a puppy, not Q means I don't have a dog. Not P implies not Q means if I don't have a puppy, then I don't have a dog. Okay, let me clean this up here. If I don't have a puppy, then I don't have a dog. Okay, we are now looking at a different promise. We are saying, if not P is true, then not Q better be true. This is a new promise. Okay, this goes back to a question that, again, you guys had in class of what does this mean in sentence structure, right? Or in an English sentence. Our new promise is, if I don't have a puppy, then I don't have a dog. So now, I don't want you to really forget about this, but we are now looking at a new guarantee. This is our new guarantee, right? So let's apply that down here. Now, just for the sake of helping us think through this, I added a few more annotations to this because this also came up in class. What does it mean for not P to be false, right? Well, let's look at what not P was. Not P was, I don't have a puppy. So what does it mean for this sentence here to be false? It's false that I don't have a puppy. Well, that means I do have a puppy, right? So that's what I wrote here. It's not true I don't have a puppy. So indeed, I do in fact have a puppy. Similarly, not Q, right? Let's go up to not Q. I don't have a dog. If it's false that I don't have a dog, well, then I do have a dog, right? So I wrote that down here. Not Q being false means it's not true that I don't have a dog. So in fact, I do have a dog. Okay. So now let's go through and do the same thing that we did up here. Okay. All right. So in this cell we have, it's false. It's not true, right? It's not true that I don't have a puppy. So in fact, I do have a puppy, right? That's what I wrote there. It is not true that I don't have a dog. Therefore, I do have a dog. Okay. So now let's go back up here and see if our promise held. Remember, we're looking at a new promise now right here. The new promise was, if I don't have a puppy, then I have, or excuse me, let me say that again. If I don't have a puppy, then I don't have a dog, right? That is the promise. If I don't have a puppy, then I don't have a dog. In this case, I have a puppy, therefore I have a dog. Okay, well, again, this promise is irrelevant because this promise was only about if I don't have a puppy, right? But in this case, I do have a puppy, okay? So we're okay with this being true. Here, what does it mean for it to be false again that I don't have a puppy? That means I do have a puppy. What does it mean to be true that I don't have a dog? Well, it means exactly that, I don't have a dog. And this is the one that's going to get a little bit tricky because, again, we are looking at a new promise. So we're kind of forgetting about this temporarily. The new promise is not P implies not Q, hence why we're filling out this column for not P implies not Q. So with this new promise, okay, with this new promise, and here's where the separation between something just colloquially making sense, like saying I have a puppy but I don't have a dog, that doesn't make sense to us, right? That's not what we're talking about. We're just making sure that logically we're following our promise here, okay? So again, this idea of like truth versus validity in this discussion that we've had ongoing. So if I say, I have a puppy, therefore I don't have a dog, does that follow our new promise up here? This says, if I don't have a puppy, then I don't have a dog. Does that follow, right? I have a puppy, therefore I don't have a dog. That is okay because we did not satisfy the beginning part here, right? That if I don't have a puppy. Okay, so again, we have kept up with our promise. We said, if I don't have a puppy, then I don't have a dog. Okay, so down here, I have a puppy. Okay, well, then this promise is irrelevant because I am dealing with the case where I do have a puppy, right? So we are okay with saying this is true, okay? For these ones, because you can see, like, again, this doesn't really colloquially make sense, right? Having a puppy, therefore not having a dog, that doesn't make sense to us, like in the literal sense. Again, this is where it was a little bit easier to make sense of these cases up here because it followed our our human instinct of what it means to have a puppy, right? That guarantees you have a dog. Here, this is where you have to kind of think about that, like, innocent until proven guilty thing. Like, if I have a puppy, right? Well, the promise is talking about where I don't have a puppy, so I don't have enough information to claim that this is a false statement. So I'm going to say that it's true from now on, okay? Or for this case. If we look at the next one, right? It's true that not P. What does true not P mean? Again, that means it is true that I don't have a puppy. So I don't have a puppy. Okay, let me see if I can erase the green up there. I don't have a puppy, right? It's true that I don't have a puppy. Therefore, and then false that I don't have a dog means I do have a dog. Therefore, I do have a dog, okay? So in the end, together, I don't have a puppy. Therefore, I do have a dog. Go back to the new promise, right? I don't have a puppy, okay? If I don't have a puppy, therefore, I do have a dog. Well, the promise said, if I don't have a puppy, then I don't have a dog. I just broke my promise, right? So that is why this gets a truth value of false, okay? This sentence does not follow what we promised. Okay? And then in our last one here, I'll make this a little bit clearer. We said true for not P. So it is true that I don't have a puppy, right? I don't have a puppy. It is true that I don't have a dog, right? Therefore, I don't have a dog. Let's check this out against our new promise. I don't have a puppy, therefore I don't have a dog. Does that follow what we have up here? If I don't have a puppy, then I don't have a dog. Well, that one's really straightforward. That's exactly what it says, right? So therefore, this gets a truth value of true. Okay. So I hope this gives you kind of more of a sense of what's going on here in terms of the English statements and writing back and forth between statements, or excuse me, sentences or statements, and symbolic notation. You guys were asking really good questions about this, and I hope this clarifies why these things look the way they do in the tables. And I will see you guys next time in class. See ya.